So I'm saying where the quick commerce guys are first entering and getting it is in through your groceries. And also if you see, that's a great way to form a habit. What can be the next thing in terms of convenience? Because if someone wants something faster than 12 and a half minutes average, then it's very difficult to say I'll get it to you. There was a survey done recently in some of the larger cities where quick commerce is a thing, and the Kirana store guys are already starting to see impact of sales.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Cut the Noise, where we discuss the latest trends in the market. Today we'll be discussing about the evolution of quick commerce and how it's changing the buying behavior of consumer. Today we have Abishek Goel with us, Chief Risk Officer at GFIO. Welcome to the episode.
Thanks, Namit. Thank you.
So Abhishek, my first question to you is basically, what is quick commerce?
So basically, quick commerce it started as a 10-minute delivery, which is getting it, like it says, much faster to the consumers. And this is done, typically when you look at the Indian retail, and I'll just take a step back and say about the Indian retail market, we typically had these Kirana stores, which were the mom and pop stores. Then we had e-commerce, which is Amazon, Flipkart. And then we got, I think it started with players like Dunzo, which don't exist anymore. And then there was Grofers, which has now subsequently become Blinkit. And the point there is they set up these stores called dark stores. So you can almost think of dark stores like, when we talk about food, we talk about cloud kitchens. So a dark store is basically a store where there is no consumer allowed inside. It is just goods, primarily, like you said, it starts with mostly grocery goods, which are in these stores. You get on one of these quick commerce apps, I'm saying, for example, Blinkit, and then basis on your location, it says this is the closest dark store to you. It shows you what is available in those dark stores. You place the order, the packer goes, packs it and delivers it as quickly as possible to you. I know it's supposed, we have this 10-minute in our head, but I must tell you that Zomato, because it's publicly listed and they reported recently, they said their average delivery time is about 12 and a half minutes. But it is still very quick, hence we call it quick commerce. So it's getting your, a lot of your daily need groceries to you much faster and convenient than any other form of way. Because even if you think about the Kirana store, by the time you sit in the store,
I don't even remember the last time I went to.
Exactly, right? And I'll tell you another reason that these dark stores are taking a lot of share from the Kirana store is a typical Kirana store carries about 1,000 to 1,200 SKUs. A typical dark store carries about 6,000 SKUs. So the chances of you finding what you want are significantly higher on the quick commerce applications. And also there is, when you log in, let's say we are sitting here in our office in Gurgaon, when we log in, there may be multiple quick dark stores of the same company, right? Blinkit. So we can say, okay, if something is not available at a particular store, I can get it delivered from the other store. So sometimes you'll see that you'll order and you'll get two different packages because they're coming from two different dark stores. And I think where quick commerce has another advantage over the Kirana stores is data, which is very important. A Kirana store person is still using his intuition, these are the products that sell, so I should stock. A dark store is much more data driven, or the quick commerce guys are much more data driven, where they say a dark store in a particular neighborhood, I'm seeing orders more of X, versus a dark store which may be only 5 kilometers away, but I'm seeing orders more of something completely different, so they can stock it very differently. And I think that's what makes the advantage of these dark stores in quick commerce over the Kirana brands. I think just if we take a step back and to talk about the Indian retail market, the Indian retail market is approximately $850 to $900 billion, out of which 2/3 is groceries.
Okay, just groceries.
Just groceries, right? And 1/3 is everything else. So I'm saying where the quick commerce guys are first entering and getting it is in through your groceries. And also if you see, that's a great way to form a habit.
Correct.
Because
Because
groceries
you
you-
want it daily.
Daily, right? So once you form a habit, it becomes easier. Then you get used to ordering through these through these apps.
What do you think? Like, is there a threat to these general store, the Kirana store? Then we'll talk about the e-commerce. Do they have a threat?
So for the Kirana stores, the short answer is yes, and I'll give you some statistics. So if you look at the FMCG companies that you had also brought up, about currently about 70% of their sales come through these stores, 20% through modern trade and other grocery, and 10% through e-commerce. Out of that 10% of e-commerce, 35% is now quick commerce. So 35% of 10%. Last year, that 35% was 15%. And e-commerce was also lower. So a much lower part was quick commerce. And I think there was a survey done recently in some of the larger cities where quick commerce is a thing, and the Kirana store guys are already starting to see impact of sales. Again, I'll go back to me as a personal example, and I think you also said the same thing. And my wife went to who was a avid Kiranas or physical store shopper,
Like D-Mart space.
D-Mart, or our local Kirana store where we live. There's some nice in general trade, one of the the higher end general trade stores. But even she has started ordering on Blinkit now. So there is a genuine, I think, a change in the habit. And I think the big thing is, maybe I didn't believe it, like I said initially, is because I didn't know that you will actually get that habit change. But once you change a habit, then changing it back will be harder. Harder. So the Kirana stores, I think, will start to see some amount of disruption from this, and they've already started to see disruption from this.
And what about the e-commerce websites or the companies? Because I've seen Flipkart also started their quick com. Now Amazon is also getting into that.
So yes, I think there also, and I'll tell you because we've spent a lot of time discussing grocery. So again, from some of the reports for the quick commerce guys, non-grocery has almost become 20 to 25% of sales. And by non-grocery, I mean, you can think about your cooler, Holi mein your colors and your things, or suitcases. If you remember, iPhone was also launched on quick commerce when the new last iPhone was launched. So I think that they will also start to see some amount of shift from a person buying the thing on a quick commerce rather than on an e-commerce platform. I think the difference is, and it's a subtle difference, is e-commerce is still a discovery platform. So if you don't know, you want to look for a particular, you want to just type suitcase, then maybe your first choice is still an e-commerce. But for example, there is a brand Mokobara, and it was yesterday announced that they have also launched on quick commerce now. Now if I know I want Mokobara suitcase specially, and I know they are on quick commerce, now I may go to quick commerce directly, bypass the e-commerce website, and get it in get it in 10 minutes if I'm in such a hurry to get my suitcase. So I think yes, they are starting to see it, and to your point, that is why I think they are also deciding to enter. And in fact, there was a news report that at Flipkart at some point was in a conversation to actually take over Zepto. Which is one of the top 3 players in quick commerce. From what I read and reports, that conversation didn't go further because there was a valuation mismatch. But the fact that they made that bid means they are clearly seeing that quick commerce is something that they have to take seriously.
Just now, Abhishek, you mentioned Mokobara. So what about these new age brands getting into quick commerce? Is it about the ticket size? Like, obviously the grocery, the ticket size is smaller, and obviously even these companies want to make bigger profits. So the ticket size of other items or the electronics or iPhone you mentioned, the ticket size is bigger obviously.
Yes. So yes, it definitely helps the average order value. And again, just to put some numbers and context around it, Blinkit said they have an average order value of over 600 rupees. And I believe from reports, both Swiggy and Zepto are in that 450 to 500 rupee range. So they are obviously almost 20-25% higher, Blinkit, and I think that's because they are moving more aggressively towards some of these higher ticket items. So as a percentage of their sales which are non-grocery is the highest. So that will help, and that's margin. So that also obviously helps it. To come back to your question about the D2C brands, I think it's a very powerful channel. I'll give you a couple of examples. There is a brand I know which sells ghee and oil. They launched quick commerce 9 months ago. So from 9 months ago, quick commerce was obviously 0% of their sales. Today it's 33% of their sales. Because again, once you know the brand, the discoverability which is done is now solved. Because I'm a buyer of that brand, I said now I know the discovery of that brand is solved. Now for my repeat purchase, I've shifted to quick commerce. You'll see there is an ice cream brand that recently launched, and it's one of the fastest growing ice cream brands in India. And again, a lot of that growth has come because of their quick commerce channel. So I think quick commerce channel for the D2C brands, once the discovery is done, is a very powerful tool. Also, I think for these brands, a lot of the quick brands follow repeat rates. These new age brands follow repeat rates on what percentage, if I'm buying from the website, am I coming back to buy from the website? I think one of the natural things that will happen is those repeat rates on their website will start falling because I'm now buying it on quick commerce or some other channel, but primarily being quick commerce. So I think quick commerce for D2C brands and is going to become a very powerful tool. And I mean, I know, speaking to a lot of D2C brands, I can tell you that is something they are all very convinced that they have to go. Now the cost for them may be high because right now the average take rate or the amount of percentage that they have to give to the quick commerce may be 25% plus or minus. Again, those numbers are not public. Platform charges, exactly. Those numbers are not exactly public, but it's a cost that they have to incur because I think, and also I think now a lot of the younger generation, if I may, Gen Z, is buying on quick commerce. So, and they are the more natural buyers of some of these D2C brands. So for them, it makes perfect sense to be on the quick commerce platforms.
So Abhishek, my last question to you is like, what would be the future of quick commerce in the FMCG sector or any other, because the brands are D2C brands are getting into quick commerce, their future, and basically now though it's booming, will they be also seeing any kind of threat like e-commerce is my personal question.
I think quick commerce still has a very long runway ahead. As for the next potential threats, see, like I said, 2-3 years ago, I thought even quick commerce is a fad. And today I'm eating my own words. So it's very hard for me to envision what can be the next thing in terms of convenience. Because if someone wants something faster than 12.5 minutes average, then it's very difficult to say I'll get it to you. It's not operationally or logistically possible. So I don't think I see the quick commerce. But do I, to your original question, do I see the e-commerce guys just sitting and not doing something to something that's a clear threat to their business? The answer is clearly no. So they will be doing something. Maybe the answer is we get too many quick commerce players. And then that creates its own set of its own set of challenges, right? Today, as we sit, Blinkit is the leader with about 40% market share, and I think the balance is split between maybe Swiggy is a little bit more from what I've read, but Swiggy and Instamart are the balance players. Like I said, Big Basket's a very small player currently, but Flipkart is not going to sit around. You said it's brought it up. Amazon is not going to sit around. Uber has started in 9 cities.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yes, so their model is they don't have their own dark stores. They tie up with the Kirana store.
Okay, so they'll do a Dunzo.
Yes, exactly. They do a Dunzo kind of model where you pay the Kirana store and the Uber delivery person goes and picks it up. But then that creates the same problem of the SKUs. Because if you're ordering from the Kirana store which has 1/6 or 1/5 the number of SKUs, then obviously it's going to, the chances are that it's, the availability is not going to be there with the Kirana store. But to your point, people are trying different, companies are trying different models. So I think that's going to go, and I think e-commerce in India also they say is only about 5 to 6% of sales total. In US that's north of 20, in China that's north of 30. So e-commerce in itself still has a long way to grow, and e-commerce has a long way to grow. I think within that quick commerce has a long way to grow. Just one last, I read recently, like we're talking about 8.5 to 850 to 900 billion of sales. I read somewhere that they are projecting retail sales in India in 2030 can be 2 trillion. So, you know, just given the kind of the GDP growth in consumer, etc. So if you extrapolate a lot, I think quick commerce, e-commerce and quick commerce both have a long runway ahead right now.
Thank you so much, Abhishek, for that insightful session and a lot of information about the quick commerce.
You're welcome, and I would love to hear from your viewers what their thoughts on quick commerce, your thoughts on quick commerce are. Have you guys started to see a change in your behavior the way my wife has?
Thank you so much again, Abhishek. So as Abhishek mentioned, if you guys have any comments or any kind of suggestions in terms of quick commerce as a topic, do drop them in the comment section. If you like the video, like this video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to Grip Invest for more videos. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Investments in debt securities, municipal debt securities, securitized debt instruments are subject to risks including delay and or default in payment. Read all the offer related documents carefully.